The hiccups I got is getting on my nerves.
Yeah, you can say that again.
You think we covered it not a lot, or you think we covered it enough?
Enough, I would say, yeah.
Enough?
Yeah. I feel like I know what's going on now.
I want you to describe that single and that track that we're playing right now.
My apology.
What made you stop?
I didn't stop till I came home from prison, and I was on parole.
Okay.
That's the only thing that made me stop. I used to sip. I had gallons of syrup by my bed in jail.
Really?
Really?
You were getting it in prison like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you were addicted?
Yeah, you gotta have it. If you don't have it, you gotta have it. Like,
I later found out that he laced the blunt with my thing. Why would you do that to a child?
Right.
And this nigga like 30, you know what I'm saying? And he knew how I looked up to him.
yeah.
He knew how I looked up to him, you know what I'm saying? And like, why would you do that to somebody who looks up to you? Like, I mean,
I'm going crazy about it. I'm going codeine crazy. These were the lyrics from one of Future's songs, Codeine Crazy. In the industry, rappers talk about their drug use in their music and videos. However, not all of them are lucky enough to keep funding their addictions before their career or lives get completely destroyed. Drugs are a problem in the industry and one that needs to be brought up more. So here are 3 rappers who were destroyed by drugs. Juice Wrld. Juice Wrld was one of the most beloved rappers in the industry while he was alive. His music evoked a deep emotion of sadness and made his fans feel seen and validated. His life mirrored the kind of music he created, and his habits eventually would take over his life and destroy him. When Juice was 3, his father left, and he and his brother were raised by their single mother. By the time Juice was in the 6th grade, he started drinking lean, and by 2013, he was already doing Percocet. Juice Wrld was born in 1998, so in 2013, he was 15 doing Percocet and Xanax.
You always had issues with drugs even before you started to get famous and rich?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was something that I was into early, low-key due to music. Cause like, I was a music head, so like in 6th grade, 7th grade, I'm hearing songs about sipping lean. Those are like the real influential years, I feel like, especially for like a boy. Like finding out who your role models are, what you like, basketball, football. That's like when you start kind of choosing the dreams you want to chase, damn near.
Right.
So like 6th, 7th grade, I was hooping, was playing baseball. I was good at both at the time. But I was also like freestyling, and I was really into music. Like I used to damn near worship the I was into music so much. So my family putting me on to all this different music, Future, Gucci, all these talking about drugs.
Juice Wrld grew up in a conservative family where his mother didn't let him listen to hip hop, so he would listen to metal, EDM, punk, and emo. When Juice finally started listening to rap, he fell in love with Future and Gucci Mane, 2 artists that rap heavily about drugs. Now, according to Juice Wrld, his first introduction to drugs was through music. Considering how impressionable children are, it was only a matter of time before he started looking up to those musicians as role models.
When I heard Future, the first song I ever heard by Future was Ain't No Way Around It. The second song I've ever heard by Future is Dirty Sprite, like off the first Dirty Sprite mixtape. And that had me wanting to sip lean at like 11, 12 years old, bro.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't know if that was what I was really finna be doing,
But Future, more than any other artist, I feel like is kind of known for, like, yes, he talks about Xans, yes, he talks about all that, but it's sad. Like he's portraying it as what it is more often than not. He's letting you know that like he has a rocky relationship with drugs, in the sense that there are some artists I can name who are all just saying, ooh, Molly, Perky. No offense to Quavo, who I just sort of sounded like there for a second. But I mean, some artists make it sound a little too fun. I feel like Future is good, and also you're good because you are like clearly like telling this tale that is sort of a harrowing tale of like, you know, doing drugs and sort of losing your mind. You don't make it sound fun all the time.
When Juice WRLD came onto the music scene, he created a persona for himself as the quiet kid who had deep thoughts, and with his success, he had a means to fuel his drug habit. The more money he made in music, the more marijuana he would buy. In fact, he got so heavy in that life, the people around him started to worry.
Yeah, man, I know, man. I'm sorry. Da-da-da. I'm just dealing with anxiety and da-da-da. I said, bro, what the f? Like, what is? I got anxiety too. What are you talking about, bro? Like I be stressed out too, bro. Like, but look, on top of that, anxiety, but you don't do no drugs though. So I got anxiety and I'm doing the drugs. I said, well, bro, stop doing the drugs then. What the f? Like, stop doing that shit. It's easy for you to say and da-da-da. I said, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you just can't stop doing the shit?
During this time, his friends and associates would give him an intervention. They wanted to let Juice know that he was chasing his high and things were not normal. They tried to bring his dependency into the light in hopes to help him recognize his problems.
You just need to work your tolerance.
Work your
bro.
tolerance.
You can get through 2 weeks.
And I'm not saying you
could-
need to go cold turkey, but you trying
really
too
keep
hard
going.
to get
You know what
high
I mean?
instead of
you gotta go 2 weeks strong, and then that's like 14 days. That's like
Cause like
after that, it won't be a problem to stop.
Because look, if you let's say at least physically you'll be
maybe to quit the addiction, but he needs to like not do them for a while.
oh no, I know.
You need to not do it. But like, look, because if you still do one or two of them throughout the day, you're not gonna withdraw.
Done.
You're not gonna withdraw if you still do like 1 or 2 or 3 in a day. But you chasing the high too hard.
Yeah.
Expecting too much of a high that is unobtainable to you physically right now.
Juice WRLD then decided that maybe he should go to rehab and get his life in order, but he didn't know that tragedy was right around the corner. On December 8th, 2019, Juice WRLD was doing so many drugs in his private jet he could have been flying through the sky without the plane. The pilot of the aircraft called the Chicago police and reported that there were illegal drugs and guns on the plane. The cops were organizing a search of the plane when it landed at the Chicago Midway Airport. However, they never got the chance to apprehend Juice WRLD because when the plane landed and he stepped down, he fell unconscious. At only 21 years old, the rapper died on the way to the hospital. While the toxicology results were not publicly revealed at the time, people with him claimed that he had been overdosing on drugs and popped some perks before getting down from the plane. Police also found around 70 pounds of marijuana on the plane. It was eventually confirmed that Juice WRLD died of a drug overdose. Sadly, right now, his music catalog is up for sale. DMX was wildly successful and made his mark in hip-hop history during his reign in the 90s and 2000s, although it took a while for him to find his foot in the industry. All of his problems started when his mother became the first person that physically abused him as a child.
Not once she ever told me that she loved me. I mean, I don't sound like a sucker.
You don't sound like a sucker.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, a lot of people.
I mean, a lot of people don't get that. So, I mean, what's the big deal? So what? She didn't say she loved me. So what? I'm here. I'm healthy. You know what I mean?
But
I got kids. I got a good career.
During that time of physical and mental abuse, he was also diagnosed with bronchial asthma, a condition that could have later added to the complexities of his passing. His mother sent him off to live with relatives when he was 5, and eventually DMX was sent to a group home by age 10. These are very big transitions for a young child to make, and eventually it affected his grades and he flunked out. When he turned 15, he decided to give school a chance again, but he couldn't hang and continue getting bad grades. He tried to join the track team, but there was no hope for him because of his academics. DMX started stealing from his friends to survive and lived on the streets because he couldn't go back to an abusive home. It was during this period of his life that he met Wrld, and his life would never be the same. Now, DMX was good at beatboxing, and when he met Wrld, they started working together. They performed on the streets and at different community centers. DMX would beatbox while Ron rapped. Eventually, Ron's career as a rapper started kicking off, and DMX decided to follow the same path too.
And I would beatbox, he would rap, and then he suggested one time, he said, you know what? Why don't you, write a couple of rhymes and they'll act as a beatbox for you? You know what I'm saying? We can like trade places. I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's where my first rhyme came to me, you know what I'm saying? And referring to incidents occurring in past times. When the beats of my profession, I had no rhymes with the daytime change, and so do I will. That's when I remember journey up the MC hill to make my first step forward to leave behind my past. Had to put my future first, everything else last. First rhyme was unacceptable, but that's what changed by taking parts of words within rearranging. It was like a story, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's what it was back then. And
Shortly after DMX met Reddy Ron when he was 14, he hung out with the rapper who was smoking a blunt with his friends. Mind you, Ron was like 30 years old. Ron passed the blunt to DMX, and that was when his life of addiction started. DMX had no idea that the blunt was laced with crack, but it gave him a new feeling, which he spent the remainder of his life chasing. As DMX became relevant in the industry, he became yet another rapper that funded his drug problems with his money. By 2019, he had to cancel a lot of live performances and check himself into rehab because his struggle with crack had taken a toll on his life. But coming out of rehab didn't stop him from doing drugs, and he admitted to himself that he could never stop being an addict. Tragedy struck on April 2nd when he was rushed to the hospital for an accidental drug overdose and he suffered a heart attack.
We have just learned that rapper DMX has died at the age of 50. Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis live outside White Plains Hospital where DMX was admitted last Friday.
He died after fighting for his life for a week on April 9th, 2014, and the industry was a wreck as everyone began mourning their loss. The sad part about DMX's life was that people knew about his addiction, but there was nothing they could do to help him. He died at the age of 50 without knowing what it was like to be sober. Coolio. If you listen to hip hop in the 90s, that means you listen to Coolio at a certain stage in your life. Before he became the Coolio you know, he was once a boy who grew up in abject poverty. After his parents got divorced when he was 8 years old, his mother moved him and his siblings to Compton, California. In Compton, he was introduced to street life, and just like many other rappers before and after that, grew up in the community. His life was a struggle. In the 1980s, the city of Compton began to decline, and Coolio was introduced to crack. Considering how strong the drug hits, it was only a matter of time before Coolio got addicted and his life began to decline too. He moved again to stay with his father and got off crack and decided to volunteer at a fire station in hopes of changing his life. He even became a Christian and attributed his recovery at the time to his religion, but it was only a matter of time before he relapsed. In 1987, Coolio released his first single, What You Gonna Do, and spiraled into drugs again. This time, he had a way to pay for his habit and began mixing crack and fentanyl and going deeper into that life. Although he checked himself into rehab, his life declined again after releasing Gangsta's Paradise when he fell into old habits.
Remember when I got caught with the crack pipe and the $20 rock in the airport? I'm gonna keep it 100. I was f***ing around with cocaine again. My nigga, listen, I done traveled all over this country with various drugs in my pocket, in my drawers. Never once have I put any dope inside my bag with all my wires, my Xbox, the bag that they're gonna open and search. Come on, bro, I ain't never did that. I'm not an idiot.
Despite being a celebrity, he and some friends robbed a German clothing store and assaulted the owner. In 2009, he found himself in even more trouble where he grabbed an officer's arm when his luggage was being searched and he was charged with battery and cocaine possession. Coolio's addiction got the better of him. He could not keep it together and it affected his career. Even if he was releasing new songs and appearing on TV shows, he couldn't get his problems under control. It was evident that he needed to address the situation. Coolio tried to get help and quit smoking crack from time to time, but he would always find himself going back because of his depression.
Along with the success, we also got to witness the downslide, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you, because you would hear a lot of stuff about you and your about financial issues,
right?
About with drugs, the law. What points do you feel? What was true about the drugs? First of all, what was untrue?
Well, for a long time, bro, I didn't do, all I did was smoke weed.
Mm-hmm.
I smoked weed, and then when ecstasy came out, I did that every now and then, but I never really got into all that. My nemesis was cocaine, bro.
Mm.
You know, and I went, you know, I used to do coke back in the 80s, and I stopped doing it for 12 years, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then I started doing it again. Man. And I couldn't believe myself. Like, I was like, what? But you know what? I started messing around with this female that did coke every day, and that's how I started.
That's how you started.
I started back doing it, and then I quit again.
You quit.
Quit again. So it's been like about 6 years. About 6 years since I cocaine again. So it was one of them things I went through. Now I can truly say now that it won't never happen again. Because first of all, I'm way too old for that. If I start doing that shit again, I probably will kill myself if I do it again.
Yeah.
Everything eventually blew up in his face on September 28, 2022, when he was found lifeless on the bathroom floor of his friend's house. Upon further investigation, it turned out that he died of accidental overdose of fentanyl, heroin, and methamphetamine. He also had cardiomyopathy, chronic asthma, and smoked cigarettes, all of which contributed to his death. Drugs have been a constant problem in hip-hop, and seeing how rappers glamorize it is an indication of trouble for a generation of people that listen to them. If you struggle with drug abuse, seek the necessary help and remember that you are not alone. We want to send our prayers out to all the friends and families of anyone struggling with addiction. If you like this video and you want us to continue this series, let us know in the comments down below. Share with your friends and families to spread awareness of drug use and the repercussion it brings. For more information on the hip hop scene, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you are informed when we drop new content. Thanks for staying until the end, and we will see you in the next one.